I'm sure at some point you have heard of the 80-20 principle, but do you know how to apply it to your business? In this video, I'm going to teach you some easy to apply hacks so that you can focus your time on the things that are bringing you 80% of your business. So stay tuned, my friends. Before we get started with these hacks, let's talk a little bit about how powerful the 80-20 program really can be if you understand how to apply it to your life, to your business. Tony Robbins, one of my favorite speakers, talks about the 80-20 principle, and this is why he says it's so powerful. He says that one of the reasons so few of us actually achieve what we want is because we lack the understanding of how to focus. We never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power. And he goes on to say that the 80-20 principle is a way for us to solve these problems. Think about it for a second. High achievers, they don't have less problems than we do. They just have more focus. If you've ever heard the name Gary Keller, he wrote a book called The One Thing, and this places great emphasis on the 80-20 principle. It's all about stopping thieves from stealing your time so that you can achieve what you really want out of life. Gary Keller said, "The moon is achievable if you prioritize everything and put all your focus and energy into accomplishing the most important thing." This is where the 80-20 principle comes in. He says extraordinary success is sequential, not simultaneous. Now, what does that mean? It means if you're really going to succeed, it follows a certain order. It doesn't just all happen at the same time. So in order to apply the 80-20 principle, Tony Robbins style, there's a couple simple steps that you need to follow that I'm going to share with you right now. Number one, know your purpose. Even Dr. Stephen Covey said, start with the end in mind. Whatever you're doing, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself the question, what does the end result look like? This is your vision statement, whether it's 1 week out, whether it's a quarter out, whether it's a year out. The first thing you do is you've got to know your purpose. Without a purpose, you can't reach goals because you can't ask yourself the question, is what I am doing serving my purpose? Is it getting me where I want to go? You can't even ask that question, so you can't even apply the 80-20 principle. After you have your purpose, the second thing you're going to do is narrow down those priorities. What are you doing that is just keeping you busy, but not getting you toward your purpose and getting you toward your goals? Define the things that you really should be doing, and these can be organized into weekly tasks. After you know your purpose and you've identified the important priorities, the third thing you do is create your action steps. This is going to be your to-do list, and this is what your 20% is going to become that's going to give you 80% of the results that you want. This is why it is going to be so transforming, you guys. This is how Tony Robbins does it, and this is how he encourages and teaches us to do it. Whatever you're doing, number one, know your purpose. After you know your purpose, number two, prioritize in order of importance the things you should be going to reach that purpose. And number three, create the daily action steps that you need to take place. This is going to be your to-do list. I have showed you the Tony Robbins way to apply the 80-20 principle. Now let me give you another example. This is called the 3-step repeat. It's very simple, very easy to apply. Here's how you do it. Number one, look at your week, look at your time, make a list of the things that you spend most of your time doing. Make a list of the top 10 things that you spend most of your time doing. That's number one. Number two, on that list of 10 things that you're looking at, answer this question. What two things on that list give you the greatest return for where you want to go and take your business? Number three, now look at those other 8 things and eliminate them ruthlessly. What can you automate? What can you give for other people to do? What can you eliminate totally in that list? And then focus most of your attention and time on those 2 things that are giving you the best return. Those are the 3 steps. Then repeat. Maybe try looking at that once a quarter or once a month and see what's happening. And you're going to end up applying the 2 things that are giving you the best return are going to what you're going to spend most of your time doing as you free up time with things that you're not going to be doing anymore. How do you apply the 80-20 rule to goal setting? Assuming you have written down some goals, the first thing you do is you look at your goals and look at the things you're doing now. Number 2, answer this question. With all the things that you're doing right now, are there any activities you're doing that are really standing in the way, or things that come up that are standing in the way of the priorities that you should be focused on? Then number 3, when you've identified those things that you're doing that are getting in the way and taking up time, eliminate them. And we've already talked about how to eliminate them. Either stop them totally, automate something, or outsource it to somebody else. When you remove the little activities and time-consuming things that you are doing that are taking away from your priorities, you are freeing up your time from the impediments that are getting in the way, allowing you to spend more time focusing on the things that you know you should be focusing on. Then it's very simple. You just maximize your time doing the things that you know you should be doing that are going to get you where you want to go. Let me ask you a question. Why does this matter? Why should you apply this 80-20 principle where 80% of your returns usually come from 20% of your work? Why should you apply this to your life or to your business even? If it's true that 20% of what you do brings you 80% of your returns, that means that 80% of what you do only brings you 20% of your returns. And that means that you have a lot of extra time that you could take and refocus. And if this is true, that means wherever you are right now in your business, you literally have not even touched the tip of the iceberg of your potential and what you could really do. This, my friends, is why this matters. If you really want to reach your potential, then you need to take your time, take a step back, sit down and write out the things that you do, and then identify what things are you doing that brings you the greatest return, and spend most of your time and energy focused on that.